To those mere mortals who think that endgames are easy, and specifically those endgames where you have less pieces, well, this is an eye-opener. It's white to play and win the game, and this is an incredibly complex problem. I'd really like you to pause the video, have this position on the board, or just stare at the position and try to find the move that white should play. It is a sequence of move. It takes a lot of precise moves for white to move, and it's really difficult and complex. So why is this problem so difficult? If we have a passed pawn, what makes it so difficult? Let's evaluate the position. So first of all, we have a rook's position. We have a rook's pawn, and we have the wrong color bishop. You can see the promoting square is a dark square, and we have a light color bishop. So if his king successfully reaches the corner, then that will be a draw, even without his c8 bishop. That is a theoretical. Let me just get rid of him. Yeah, even without that dark square bishop, it will be a draw, a theoretical draw. So we have to always avoid his king. We have to always stop his king from going in the corner. The second thing is he would very much like to exchange his bishop for the pawn. He would like to sacrifice his bishop for the pawn, and that will be an instant draw. And the third thing is you simply cannot win by pushing the pawn and bringing the bishop in. You will also need the help of your king, and at the same time you have to stop his king. So you have to get your king in the game while at the same time stopping his king to come over here somewhere around the king side, and that all of that makes it very difficult. First of all, the existence of a rook pawn. We know that rook pawns are incredibly difficult to promote. They have a key squares all the way up here, and that's why there's a difficult. We also have a wrong color bishop which increases the draw odds, and we have a king far away from that pawn. So all of this factor make this problem extremely complex. So like always, go ahead, pause the video and try to find the move that white should play here. Alright, so let's look at the solution. White plays h5. He starts pushing his pawn. Now basically black has to stop that pawn by putting his bishop on g8. So here he goes. He plays bishop to e6. Now we have h6. The bishop goes to the g8 square. Basically he's controlling the h7 square, and now if he push the pawn, that will be a serious mistake. He will sacrifice his bishop, and that is an instant draw. So we cannot push a pawn. So how do we make progress? The move that white plays here is bishop to c4. We are asking him, do you want to exchange the bishops? We'd like to exchange the bishops because after you trade on c4, the pawn will simply go home, and that is winning. So black says, obviously I'm not going to exchange. I'm going to put my bishop on h7, and now what are you going to play? How are you going to make progress? White says, I have an extremely beautiful move here. Bishop to b5. The bishop controls a lot of squares, and this is a very interesting move. Now in the game he played bishop to g8. I mean in the main line the move is bishop to g8. There are other moves as well. Let's look at king to c7. This is extremely logical. You would like to via the dark squares, you would definitely like to go in the corner and kind of stop that pawn. That will be a draw. So what is white planning to do? Here we go. King c5, king d8, and after king d6 you realize, well, there is an invisible box, an invisible barrier. The black king cannot cross that. The black king cannot enter the king side, and our plan is very simple now. We'd simply put our king on g7, get our bishop. We'd put our king to g7, get our bishop on the, oh, not over there. Here we go. I'm gonna put it over here, and bring it to g6. Have a king on g7, and that will be a winning plan. So let's have a look. Bishop g8. We can play bishop a4, waiting move, and in fact it's zugzwang. He has to keep control of the h7 square. He can't move his bishop away because then h7 wins for white. So he plays bishop h7, and now we go king to e6. He can play bishop to d3 or even bishop to g8, but that's completely losing after king f6 and king g7, and then we get a bishop to g6. Right, so over here he tries bishop to d3, but now king to f7, bishop moves. We put a king on g6, and the rest of the plan is quite simple. Get this bishop over to g6. So basically the black's bishop's diagonal has been closed, and then we can safely play h7 and push forward and win the game. So basically that would have happened. That would happen if he plays king to c7 over here. But the main line goes bishop to g8. Again, black just waits. Black is just waiting and asking white, how are you going to make further progress? White plays an excellent move here. Bishop to a4. Now this is an excellent move. We are passing on the move and we are asking him again, would you like to move your king back? If you move your king to c7, we already know what happens. We play king c5, and after king d8, king d6, there is again a barrier. Your king can't enter. Your king can't reach the corner, and simply after a few moves, I'll just go here. I'll put my king on g7, bring my bishop to g6, and that will be a winning plan. So he says, all right, I know that. I'm not going to fall for that. I'm going to play bishop to h7. I'm going to keep waiting. White now plays king to c4 and king c7, king d5, king d8, king e6. Again, we have the barrier. We stop from his king from entering on to the king side, and we bring our king to the g7 square. And next we are winning. For example, let's continue here. For example, he moves his bishop to, oh, not over there, of course. Let's say bishop to c4, but that loses. Okay, bishop h7 looks like a sensible move. I'm gonna put my king on g7, attack your bishop. Your bishop has to move. Probably you move it to d3, e4. Now my plan is simple. Directly I cannot push my pawn, so I'll first go bishop to d1, then bishop h5, bishop g6. I'll block your bishop's diagonal, followed by pushing the pawn and completely winning the game. So that was the problem, and it was not at all simple. In fact, white has to make a lot of moves, and he has to understand so many complexities. Specifically, the position, the pawn, and the wrong color bishop made it extremely difficult for white to win. And yet, we have a beautiful win over here. So, hope you enjoyed this excellent chess problem. Thank you for watching, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're gonna have a look at more such problems. And until next time.